God for them. Judge Napolitano, good morning to you, my friend.
Hi, Jamie. How you doing, dear friend?
Doing great, and you are on this White House leak story. It doesn't matter whether it's within the current administration or whether it's some of the holdovers from the Obama administration. It looks like the heat is on, huh?
Well, you know, I argued in my column last week, which was describing the plight of Jeff Sessions. I feel sorry for him. I think he's a good and decent person, but he obviously doesn't have the confidence of his boss, that one of the things he could do to regain the confidence of his boss was to investigate and indict the unmaskers. That would be the people in the Obama administration who, for petty political purposes, used raw intelligence data and fed it to the media. So when intelligence data comes in, let's say the transcript of a telephone call or a transcript of text messaging, it doesn't give the names of the participants, just says A and B. If in order to understand what they're talking about and in order to grasp the gravity of the national security implications of the communication, the recipients of this information need to know who A and B are, then they request unmasking. That's the technical term for revealing who A and B are. If the unmasking was done for national security purposes, that's part of the job. If it was done for political reasons, that's a felony. What we learned last night is that James Clapper, former General Clapper, who was the director of national intelligence in both Obama administrations, made it easier for political appointees in the White House to unmask communications involving members of Congress. Why would he make it easier for them to do that? Obviously, the president and his people wanted more data about their friends, colleagues, and adversaries in the Congress. Justice Scalia once told me he thought the court's phones were being surveilled and that the NSA knew of his conversations with fellow justices as they were reaching consensus or compromise on Supreme Court opinions, something which is none of the business of the intelligence community. So we have serious issues on our hands. And for all those who say I have nothing to hide, I don't care if the government knows about me, this is an example of why you should care when people in the government are not trustworthy and can use personal data about people to harm them.
So when Clapper did this, and obviously he had the authority, I guess, to do it.
Yes.
But nonetheless, this seems dirty to me.
Well, you know, Susan Rice, who was President Obama's ambassador to the UN in his first term and national security advisor, the job that General McMaster has now for President Trump, in President Obama's second term, at first denied that she even knew what unmasking was, then denied that she did it, then admitted that she was involved in it, but claimed that she did it for national security reasons. Now, she's one of the people who General Clapper authorized to do the unmasking. But at the same time that she admits she was doing the unmasking for what she says were national security purposes, this stuff is showing up in the Washington Post. And it's humiliating General Michael Flynn, and it's humiliating then President-elect Donald Trump. So, you know, you can pretty much connect the dots here. Scalia worried that the court is being surveilled. The West Wing unmasking for political reasons. Some of the unmasked material showing up in the Washington Post. Donald Trump getting elected. Barack Obama trying to frustrate his successor's new presidency. All this stuff is happening at once. Is this worthy of Bob Mueller's investigation? Yes, it is.
Yeah,
that's what came out this morning. I'm sorry, it's an earful.
No, well, see, you know what I'm also thinking about is it just last week. Clapper is sitting at some consortium with Wolf Blitzer and some other guy. I can't remember Brennan. And they're suggesting, Clapper was even suggesting that if push comes to shove, that Congress and people in the White House ought to stop executing the orders of the president. It was like one of these silent coup things. And I just think this Clapper guy, he really is a snake. I'm sorry. I know that's not a legal term, But,
well, most people listening to you know what you mean by that.
I mean, there's something really wrong with this, and it's actually scary, to tell you the truth, to most Americans, knowing the kind of power the swamp has. It's really...
Well, it's a grave threat to personal liberty in a free society. We have allowed the government, we've bought the government's argument that when it knows everything about us, it keeps it safe. You know me, I've been resisting this argument since the first was made in the George W. Bush administration in 2005. And then when the Snowden revelations came out, I basically said, aha, I told you this was going on. But now we accept as normal the fact that every conversation we have on every phone, even a conversation we have in person if we're within earshot of a mobile device, every keystroke on every mobile device and laptop, and every piece of every piece of data on fiber optic cable, all of that is captured by the government. It's too much for them to read in real time, but they have it, and if they want to read it, they can. We accept that as the new normal. That's wrong, because we now know that the people in whose hands this data has come can, will, and have used it to harm those whom they want to harm. That is a devastating threat to personal freedom. If you and I are on a phone call and we think that somebody in the government is listening to us and may use it to harm us, are we going to be truthful with each other on that call? Is that something we should worry about in the United States of America? This is more Stasi than it is NSA. This is more North Korea than it is America 2017.
Boy, I'd say, and we haven't even gotten to the Debbie Wasserman Schultz thing because we're out of time. So I need some
who
kind
knows
of...
what that's the tip of the iceberg of. She was defending this guy until the FBI grabbed him as he was about to get on a flight to Pakistan.
Yeah.
He was selling the contents of the websites of members of Congress. To whom was he selling it, and for what? Somebody overseas. Wow.
I mean, and these people are hyper-focused now on that Trump Tower meeting. Lord, there's so much here, and I'm not seeing a lot of reporting on it, but I'm glad you're on it, and I just need an hour with you, buddy. That's all.
Yeah. Anytime, my man. Maybe Raymond Leo Cardinal Burke will join us.
Hey, by the way, Cardinal Dolan was in town yesterday. He was handing out hamburgers at the Steak and Shake for his radio show. It was fantastic.
Unbelievable. That's only in America. The Archbishop of New York, a prince of the church, comes to St. Louis to give away free hamburgers for a radio show. You can't make that up.
No doubt about it, my friend. And, man, it is always so enjoyable to have you on and so illuminating at the same time. So,
God bless you, Jamie. Until next week, all the best.
You too, Judge Napolitano. I appreciate you very much. At Judge Nap. I mean, I just want to. You want to hear that again? You hear that whole thing again?
He's always so informative. Wow.
I mean, it's just amazing. 9699797.